Good morning. I'm here to present data-driven solutions for New York City Bike Supply Optimization Challenge. As you can see on our dashboard of this introduction page, we analyzed comprehensive 2021 to 2022, as you can see right here on the left side of the dashboard, where we had almost 54 million total trips with an average of almost 74,000 in 20 stations that we analyzed. And this analysis revealed three critical patterns: significant seasonal demand fluctuations, geographical concentration in high usage areas, and clear expansions opportunities. Now, let me walk you through the key findings. So, now let's move on to the weather impact, how the weather has its impact on this analysis. So now let's look at the weather patterns. This dual axis chart clearly shows the relationship between temperature and bike usage. We can see here there is a strong correlation as temperature rises in spring and summer. So does daily trip increases. In peak seasons, around almost 95,000 trips, as you can see right here. So, see, this is the peak season right here that we can see. And during winter, the usage drops to around 45,000 trips daily. This represents over 60% demand variation between seasons, telling us the shortage problem is primarily concentrated from May through October during peak riding seasons. The data clearly indicates we need seasonal operational strategies to match fleet availability with demand patterns. Now let's move on to the next page, that is the most popular stations. Now, let's examine stations level patterns. This bar chart reveals significant usage concentrations across our network. You can see the top stations handle dramatically high volumes. The leading, which is around 129 trips, while the average is 118, as we can see right here. The average is which is 12th Avenue on the West 40th Street. This creates rebalancing challenges in high demand areas, particularly in Midtown Manhattan and tourist destinations. The top 5 stations alone account for disproportionate share of total ridership. This concentration means we need targeted strategies for these high volume locations to ensure consistent bike availability where demand is at its highest. Now let's move on to the next page. That is the interactive or our spatial map, which shows a little bit more. Just a moment for it to download, because 54 million trips, that's kind of a lot, so it takes some time to download. So now let's look at the geographic distribution. Our spatial analysis reveals clear usage hotspots and expansions opportunities. You can see the heavy concentration in Midtown, as is right here. Financial district, all these areas, and along the waterfront areas. These zones experience the highest demand pressure. The map also reveals coverage gaps, particularly in residential neighborhoods and some waterfront corridors. These represent strategic expansion opportunities to serve unmet demand and relieve pressure on overcrowded stations. This geographic intelligence allows us to make data-driven decisions about where to deploy additional resources and infrastructure. That is how I see it. Now let's move on to the recommendations. Based on our comprehensive analysis, we recommend 3 key strategies: demand seasonal scaling strategy, high demand station optimization, and strategic geographic expansions. First, let's implement dynamic seasonal scaling, reducing fleet size by 40 to 50% during winter months when demand drops significantly. Second, optimize high demand stations operations with predictive redistributions and enhance maintenance at the top 20 stations. Third, pursue strategic geographic expansions to underserved areas identified through our spatial analysis. Now let's address the key questions from the stakeholders. For scaling between November and April, we recommend a 40 to 50% fleet reduction, with the most significant cuts in January and February when demand is low. Second, for waterfront stations expansions, we'd use partial analysis to identify high demand corridors with limited coverage, focusing on areas with both touristic and residential traffic. Third, for keeping popular stations stocked, we recommend predictive redistribution algorithms, dynamic pricing incentives for bike returns, and real-time monitoring system with automated outlets. So, thank you for your time. These data-driven strategies will significantly improve bike availability and customer satisfaction. Thanks.